We say what they can't radio.
Welcome to SoulShare, a conversation focused on love, intimacy, vulnerability, and emotional intelligence. This is a different kind of relationship dialogue for those who want to make the shift from the ego-driven to more intimate, spirit-nurturing partnerships that satisfy. Because that's what Black love is. Black love is powerful. Black love is soulful. Black love is a love that you can feel. Give thanks. Hi, I'm Sesheta Khepra, the intimacy junkie, and this is, well, I've lost track of the episode of SoulShare, and I'm here with some amazing ladies. Can you introduce yourselves and your shows and,
I'm Jathiyah. Untitled podcast with Teak. We co-hosted together. We hosted together. And,
I didn't hear the. You're supposed to use the. You stressed me about
the
the word the.
Untitled
Okay.
podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That Teak and I co-host together.
Hi, and I'm Teak, loving some Teak from the Untitled podcast.
And I'm Anjy Munroe. Nice to meet you.
Okay, so today's episode, we're going to discuss something that has affected all of us tremendously, and that would be the murder of Nipsey Hussle. Okay, and I'm getting all emotional, Okay, how has the killing of Nipsey Hussle affected all of you?
Very, very deeply, very deeply. Because I know about all the work that he's been doing and been passionate in doing it, getting all of his friends in line with him, and his success has been tangible. So to see him being cut down is very rough.
Honestly, it has affected me. I can't say that it has affected me extremely how it has affected a lot of other people, but it has affected me. And I think maybe more it's affected me even to the extent because of my kids, my son. Like, it's affected him a lot. He talks about it every day. He said we have these conversations about it. And it kind of, I think for the males, it kind of give them, it almost like it's like it gave them that hope. Like, we can come out of something that's bad. We can turn our lives around. We can do something, different and better within our community. But then it's like when this happens, it's like, damn, like, is this, like, I don't know. Yeah. It's almost confusing to our young youth. It's very confusing to them. It's like they want to go on that good path, but then it's like, is it really worth it? Because this is all that's going to happen in the long run. Yeah. So, I mean, in the sense of that, it has affected a lot of us.
It definitely affected me. I wouldn't sit here and say that I knew Nipsey Hussle's music prior to his murder. I knew who he was because I follow London. So, but it affected me automatically just because he is a black man. You know what I'm saying? And that it was on social media, and it's just horrible, to see somebody that hateful with themselves that they would be willing to carry something out like that out. But it got even worse for me when I realized just how smart he was, just where he came from, what he was trying to do, what his message was, and he exuded love. Like, he just exuded love. When you heard him speak, it's just amazing to see somebody come from where they came from, to come from their struggle and still be able to, go on in another direction. And it hurts because I have nephews, I have brothers, and everybody, like Teak said, they're unsure, like, which way do I go? Because I've been in the streets all my life, and if I try to do right, I may end up still being murdered anyway. So it definitely affected me in more ways than one. It's just an unfortunate situation.
And that's what I really want to get into. It's like, where you talk that he exuded love, and, that's what his energy was. So I want to discuss that culture of hate and jealousy and violence that exists in our communities. And then when you try to bring love and peace to it, and then you're up against that force of the hate and the violence. And it's like, like, where what work do we need to do with our men so that we can get them to make that shift away from the violence, away from those ego-driven behaviors, and move over into peace and love.
Right.
Things are getting really hot right now. There's definitely wars going on. And for a lot of Black men that are elevating themselves and becoming entrepreneurs and taking charge and taking leads, we have a lot to learn about how savage this economy is and how and the piracy that goes on. We are just now beginning to see how savage this country can get, because when something like this happens in a neighborhood that's growing and building up, it lowers the value of real estate. It lowers the value of and it's easier for people to move in. So this gentrification is real. It's harsh, and it's like what is it? They take no prisoners. They just barreling through, and it does connect to it because of the value, the street value of. He rose the street. He increased the value of the property.
And it's not funny, but that now that you mentioned the gentrification, I got involved in a conversation online where somebody put up the question, oh, if you have $1 million, would you stay in your neighborhood? This was just yesterday. Would you stay in your neighborhood or would you move? And there was a significant amount of people who were saying that they were going to move. And I guess it stems from, the conversation surrounding Nipsey Hussle. And it's like, okay, everybody now wants to, move out, of the hood. And it's like when you become successful and you're doing certain things, now you become a target. So now everybody has this fear of being a target, so they don't want to stay. And I was like, this is how, gentrification and how other people start to move in. It's like we want to flee our neighborhoods, and now they're coming in, but we have an issue with them coming into our neighborhoods, but we don't even want to stay. Right. And here was Nipsey, someone who's like, no, I'm going to stay in my community and serve my people. Right. But then we're afraid of each other, and we're just like, you know what, when I get to I'm out of here. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, people aren't even reaching his level of success, and they're ready to go. You know what I mean? Right. And they want at the first opportunity that they get. So who is going to take it upon themselves to say, I'm going to serve my community, because everybody is living in fear? And then it was, within the conversation, it was so many men who were saying, and I'm like, wait a minute, but if you men are afraid of the other men that are in the community, who's going to do the protection? Who's going to protect us if the men are afraid of other men? And it was like, it exposed so much. And I'm like, they don't even realize that when they're having these conversations, what they're actually saying and the message that they're saying. It's like, if Black men are afraid of other Black men, who's going to do the protecting?
You're absolutely right. And I think if they didn't fear as much, you would have more of these Black men say, no, if I became a millionaire, I would stay in my community. I would build it up and I would do X, Y, and Z. But if you have so much fear, it kind of almost like it keeps you complacent, keeps you in one spot. You're not gonna want to be. You're not gonna want to do more,
right?
Because of the fear.
I think that it goes so much deeper than where we are now. I think that we've been programmed to think that we already learn enough. That's from way before we even step foot outside. You know what I'm saying? And we got to remember who we were raised by and who our parents were raised by. And a lot of our parents were strong because they had no choice. You know what I'm saying? You give people a choice and you really see where they at, where they are mentally when you give them a choice. You know what I'm saying? So I'm here because I have to. Where else do I go? You know what I'm saying? I was born and raised in Brooklyn. This is all I know. And when you were born and raised in Brooklyn and all you know is the streets, if you needed to get out, what they tell you, you have to change people, places, and things. So they're not going because, it's not just because I fear, it's because it's so many distractions. There's so many things against us, especially the black man, I have to go. Because in my mind, I have to create this clean space for myself in order for me to be able to do anything remotely different than what I was already doing. Because as we know, our own people, they will hold you to your 15-year-old self at 40. They will never let you progress. They will never let you mentally progress. Even physically. You could be losing weight, going to the gym, and somebody be like, "Oh, who you think you are?" That you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's not necessarily. It's not about. I don't think that it's a fear of each other. It's a fear of yourself. So I fear my value. I fear what I can be. So I'm a diminish the next man because if I look at him and I see he do it and I don't do it, that means I'm a sucker, and I can't be no sucker. So I think it's just our parents in our household, our elders. That's why I say I think it's very important to have. I think it's important to have people outside of your home teaching you, because if your parents were just survivors, I feel like there's a difference between being strong and being fearless. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm strong in a matter of whatever cards I was dealt, I'm gonna play.
Right.
Fearless is, I don't like this deck, I'm throwing it away. You're gonna reshuffle, you're gonna give me something else. Because those opportunities, those options are there for me. If we weren't taught that we had those options, we doing all we know. They're doing all they were taught.
Right, but I feel that when you pick up and you leave, that's essentially saying that you can't flourish in this environment.
Because that's
Absolutely.
what we were told.
You know,
that's what we were told.
I hear you.
Your mother, when you were acting up as a child, your mother sent you down south. Your mother sent you to live somewhere else because you can't.
Or to grandma house or somewhere.
That you were conditioned. That was the way. Flee. That was the way. Flee. Look, it's like if you wouldn't even go back to slavery. That was the condition. You flee.
Yeah, and now everybody want to run to Atlanta. You know,
So we flee, which is not. But now I
And
feel I think that's like we said with like social media. Like one of the pros of that is you actually get to witness people, not foreign people, not the Malcolm X's of the world, not the Martin Luther Kings, your neighbor. You get to see your neighbor like, oh, we gangbang together. We sold drugs on the same corner. And look at him. He actually on a train going to work now.
Yeah.
He actually started a business. He's actually raising his daughter. We didn't see that when we were younger. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them didn't, especially if they was outside by any means. We fought all our lives. We fought all our lives. And we're still fighting. So people leave because that's all they know, one, and they tired. What else do I do? I don't necessarily think it's always about fear. I just think it's a matter of what we've been conditioned. I don't think it's fear because we're not fearless, but we're not scared either because we've lived it. So how you gonna tell me I'm scared of what I live? I live this. I'm tired though. How long you want me to fight? So at this point,
I see.
that's when you say,
It's
who
almost
gonna
like you're
step in and change the conversation? Who gonna say enough is enough, y'all? We done murdered enough people.
And
Right.
I
Who
think
gonna say something?
Right, yeah. So I want to interject here as the male.
Okay.
This is Sharif, the engineer for We Say What They Can't. I'm not on camera. I'm off camera, guys. But thank you for the conversation. And all of you have valid points, but from a male. So I want to just interject really quick and add on to what the sister was saying here, both what all you were saying. From what touched me about this, because I'm a black man. What touched me about this, because I could have been him. I was in a situation from music and being in a situation where my life almost got took within that thing with hate. Years ago, my son actually did some work with Nipsey. He's worked for a company, did some work, so it touched him. I remember he saying to me, Dad, I remember the Biggie thing. I remember I was a little kid, I was 5, so I remember it, and da-da-da, but this is different. This is, unfortunately, this is his Tupac, Biggie, what we felt when that happened, especially, big for Brooklyn. But we also felt Tupac, too. I know I did.
Yeah.
But we have all the Tupacs and Biggies and the Nipsey Hussles every day that are being gunned down by each other, that are being robbed and all kind of stuff. The sister said it's conditioning. It is the condition to be fearful of change and of moving forward. Say you only go to the block and back. As coming up, as a kid, myself as a young black male, I remember my friends used to be like, "You go to the city,
Right.
you hang in the city,
Right.
Like, what's that like?" And the only time we did go to the city was to Halloween, be crazy, act crazy, and we run back. But you say you hang in the city, you in the village? Oh, that's the other word they call those. Like, There's nothing wrong with being in the city. Because my mother told me, I can go around the world if I want to. Right? And the parents, she said those parents, the choices we had were choices were given to us. So that conditioning, and the condition to fear, especially us as black men. Why can't I go work for Google? Well, you know what? The fear changed. You have to go to school. You have to learn something. You have to take time and patience to learn something. Now I want to do that because I got to go get this now. Because I got to get it now so I can impress you, all four of you guys. As a young man, that's what I was taught. Get the money so I can get the girls will come. You hear it in the songs. Get the power, get the money, the power, respect, whatever, and then the women will come. And I've said this in workshops and stuff. I talk to young men and stuff like that. Like I said, most of us who are in prison because we're trying to live something to gain you guys' attention. It's not your fault, it's ours, right? And most women who are in prison is because of us, because they love us, but we love things. And that's the fear, that fear of, you gotta have that, but you don't even go this far to get it. Right. So like she said, the guy he was in a gang banging, but now he's going to work. The other guys are like, what's that about? Oh, you think you're smart, you think you So their fear is like, I want to do that. But what they gonna think? I'm gonna think I'm a sucker or whatever the term.
And how do I? Some people. How do I?
That fear of just that.
How do I?
How
do I do it?
But then that's where we, or that person who's made that transition, from doing the work of the streets, and now they're doing something else. Now they have to provide guidance and say, okay, now here's how you make that transition as well. Right. So now, what that takes is you have to inspire, because you can't just be a teacher and say, okay, I'll teach this lesson, because you have blueprint. Right. Here's the blueprint. And just follow these steps. No, you have to now inspire the next man to want to take those steps. So how do you do that? How do you provide inspiration to the person who doesn't have hope?
I think that you inspire people by not just living your life, because people will watch you all day and be like, that's dope what he does. That's dope what she does, and still be like, how she did it, I don't know, And I don't think giving a blueprint is enough either. I think it's just so much deeper than like the surface. And I had to learn this on my own personal journey. And I think that's why things like this are so near and dear to me, because I know what it was like when I started to become me. And that was just like 2 years ago. I would have never did this 2 years ago, because I would have been like, you're not going to listen to me. You know what I'm saying? But I had to go through my own process. I had to understand why I allowed certain things to hurt me. I had to dig as deep as, I got to forgive my mother for not knowing how to mother me the way I felt she should have. You know what I'm saying? I had to go deep. I had a father that was in prison. He was sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences when I was in the 4th grade. I had to understand. I just realized I had daddy issues. I didn't know, because my daddy issues looked different. You understand what I'm saying? I thought they said daddy issues was the little girls running outside looking for love. I wasn't looking for love, but I was caressing love. You know what I'm saying? I was babying it, so to speak, because it was like, that was my way of saying I needed it. So these people need therapy. It's not just standing here and saying you could do it. No, you need to dig deep. Yes. Why you treat women the way you do?
There's some patterns.
Why you allow?
There's a lot of patterns that there's a lot of things repeating, right? In historically, I mean, Nipsey Hussle is no different than Malcolm, no different than Martin Luther King.
Absolutely.
When they went through the same thing, they were young also. Yes. They both became very highly regarded, very highly respected, and they both became leaders in their community. They all became leaders in their community. They each had their get your hand in my pocket moment. Even Martin Luther King, he knew what he was walking into. And Nipsey had that same, you a snitch, you shouldn't be here.
Right. Same thing. All of those great men you mentioned. So did Rashawn up the block, Craig, John, Peter, whoever, who was that kid, young man, who's like, I'm trying to play basketball.
With that potential.
I'm trying to be a chemist with that potential, who wants to do this.
Very smart.
Some kid was hating on him, whether in grade school all the way to college. Oh, you're not going to, that's not happening. We're going to bully you. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. You're going to take your life.
That person hating is trained to hate. They're like mercenaries. We're mercenaries.
Right? That mercenary thing. And so, unfortunately, there's those that go. And I've been reading the stuff on the social media. And they're saying, it's like 10 more will rise, 10 more Nipsey Hussles will rise. I pray that, because for myself, I feel like for myself, I'm going, when certain situations happen to me as a black man who had his own business, and I serviced the black community, and it was black men who came and tried to do whatever to me. I was like, no, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not messing with it. 5 minutes, I was like, that's why I don't. I was like, how can you say that? I love my people. Right. So I said, I'm not gonna let them fear.
Right. That's when you fear. That's
so I gotta stand up and say, yo, whatever, let's go. Because God had a mission for me. I just pray that that person who was able to be saved like myself, don't let fear of not loving our people and not doing that say, hey, no, I'm gonna still fight the fight. I'm gonna raise up 2 more, 1 more. That one person, one male will come up. The thing I want to touch on something really quick. You said something about the with the men and women. Our this fascination and love, infatuation or lust for everything material.
Yes.
You know, I said he took God out of school. Whatever spirituality is so gone. So when we were coming up in hip hop, right, back in the 1980s, there was a connection with the pipe. Whatever you were earth or 5% of Christian, whatever it was, but there was that hard connection with that. That connection has been taken, and I remember Careful had a song called, he was like, love of cars, love of things, love of love. Right? It's supposed to be falling in love with something that created you first. That's something we all were taught, no matter what you were. That's something you taught, your parents taught you.
See this spreading it.
This what this is. So then that man loved that woman as a gift, not a thing, as a precious living thing. So then he doesn't do that to her, father, whatever, and vice versa. In that unity, because the Minister Farrakhan said, there's a whole speech on a nation cannot rise no higher than its woman, and that's the truth.
And that's pretty much the core of what I want to get into. Is it going to take us? Is going to take us.
Has to take us.
Absolutely.
Is it loving black men through their darkness to get them to that light? And how do because it's like now, everybody is on this whole fuck love, mentality. I am trying to shift the culture away from that. And we have to, put love out there, you know what I mean? And put love, we're on social media. We have all these platforms. This is how we shift the culture. And it's our responsibility to put that out there. And that is we have to love these black men through their darkness.
We
get
do.
them over.
I think it's a little hard though.
People how to love themselves.
Right. And then they can do it. Right. So I don't think that the women don't necessarily don't want to love black men, because I think we do. And I think we love y'all through a lot of stuff. We do. But sometimes you get tired. Right. You get tired.
Everybody gets weary.
So, so I guess, I don't know what will it take to
I feel like it's bigger than loving your mate. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't.
But do you think it comes from not having a father figure, or your dad at home, or?
I'm like, in my own. I forgot I was here. I don't think it has anything. Wait, what did you just ask me?
Do you think, like, the reason why us black women can't love our black men?
It's because a lot of black women don't love themselves. That's number one.
Well, yes,
that's
absolutely.
number one. And I think that a lot of people associate loving themselves with how pretty they think they are, and that absolutely has nothing to do with it. When I realized, okay, so I'm an affirmation girl, so I was sometimes, and look in the mirror. And one time I woke up like, girl, you fucking popping, like, you have to do that though. So it's not that, it's like, you have to do that. And in whatever language you need to do it in. Because I feel like it starts as a physical first, because that's what the world sees. So you pretty in the physical. So it's like, girl, you it. You know, that still's not going to get me in the door. It's not going to give me enough courage to kick in the door. You know, you cute, but that's not enough. And then one day I woke up and was like, oh no, I actually love myself. This is different. You know, like, I love myself enough that I don't even want to eat that no more because I found out what it does to my body. You know, I love myself enough that there's certain conversations I don't want to involve myself in anymore because it's not conducive to my mental health. This, if you're not there, I feel like if you're not self-checking, mental health checking, if you're not concerned about those things in your well-being as a whole, then chances are you probably are not at the point that men, and I'm not in a relationship, that men might need you to be at in order to say, okay, this is, you know what I'm saying?
And I agree with it. We need the women. You look back at slavery, it's nothing different.
It's nothing different.
Think about this. You say, Weary, think about this. These women, all of our these women, mothers, had to watch their men be slaughtered.
Absolutely.
In front of them. Put fear in the other slaves, the male side, and to them. The fear was to put in the women were ready to, Harriet Tubman was ready to get it popping.
Right.
But they was fearful of, my son is going to be castrated in front of me. They're looking at their little boy as a baby like, I don't want you to die. So I'm going to bow down. But they were ready to get it popping. They didn't want their brothers, their uncles, their husbands. Their husbands was getting kunta kinte, foot chopped off, all kind of stuff.
And imagine your day.
That was so the same thing is happening now. But it's even worse because it's subliminal with mental health. It's taking the male out of the male. Okay, I'm not saying people who are
toxic masculinity.
Putting our emphasis on study. Study. So men will walk around with women, and that's it. Not take care of her. Not talking about just physically. Because you got the dudes, whoever got the money, they just pay for stuff, but she's going, take care of me.
My heart. Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. My heart.
My mind, my spirit. Feed my soul.
Feed my soul.
You got me a chef, but I need you to feed my soul.
I need you to hear what I'm saying in here.
Right. And not just his wife or his girl. His
mother,
his daughter, the next door neighbor who's a female who's like, I lost my brother, my father, you know, to protect me not just physically. So that thing, but the men who are going through this dark time, like you guys say, we're targeted. We've been afraid.
One blogger likened it so nicely to the chessboard setup. Because where's the king? Where's the queen? And everyone else around them protecting them. That's where we're waking up. We're becoming more conscious. We are beautifying. We're doing all, but now we're vulnerable, and we're not seeing that yet because we have this kind of false sense of pride. This false sense of, like you were saying, it's not about fear. We know we're not scared. Like when it comes to jump, we will stand in front of our son. We will take a bullet for something. But it's not really about fear. We're growing in a certain level of mentality, state of mind, spirituality, and all of that. Nipsey brought that spirituality in.
He made it cool.
But the protection part, she said
absolutely
he was making
cool.
it like, listen,
now
you
that
can wear your khakis, you can wear your whatever, but feed the brain.
But that's where, because in the beginning, Nipsey wasn't, even his look changed. Yeah. Even his image changed. Like he had another kind of glow about him.
That Dr. Sabi in him. He got that Sabi in him.
She played a vital role in that. But a part of playing a vital role in that, he found himself in that process and and he was okay with who he found. When he finally met himself, he was okay with that man.
Yeah.
And I feel like that makes the difference, man or woman. When you finally say, oh, I'm not like the girls that's twerking on the video.
And I'm sure it made him love her
I don't want to be a stripper. I want to talk shit like this all day. I had the one day wake up and be like, that's cool. Because guess what? That's who you are. And you're going to glow in that. You understand what I'm saying? When you love something, you are going to give it your all. That's it. So when you begin to love yourself and then you look out and be like, dang, his struggle is just like mine. Because at first, before you tap on.
But you know, it's okay. But but I hear a lot of women who don't want to accept their roles as healers. I've had so many comments. I don't want to have to put in that much work to keep a man. I don't want to have to do this. And what I see these other women out there doing, I don't want to have to do all of that. And it's like, they don't want to do that level of work. And it's like, it's not going to happen without us.
But I don't think it's for everybody, though. I don't think everybody is.
Right. Everybody's not built to.
Everybody. That's not for everybody.
And that's why they're going to be on the front line.
Yeah,
because
it's
the
not
kings
for
and queens got to
everybody,
lay back.
you know?
And we got to make sure that who we have protecting us are actually doing
Everybody has a
job.
role, and theirs might not be the healer role. You can't crucify people for not being able to love how you love. You know what I'm saying? That's what you can't. You just gotta love. That's even with dating. When you date men, I realize people will give you their opinion on what they think is good for you. So the man with the khakis that goes to church and plays the organ or whatever and does whatever, he is the ideal look because he looks like the man. But when I sit down with him, he's empty to me.
Right.
Like, so what is he going to provide for me?
Right.
So then here it is. I decide, okay, well, I'm going to give him a try. He a little hood, rough around the edges. You could tell he been outside. He's automatically looked at like, well, Jathiyah, what you doing with him? You know what I'm saying? Like, you look so, that's beneath you. But you would rather me be with this man who provides nothing to me, offers nothing to me. He could be married. He could be doing all of that, but you would rather him because the image is befitting. But I learned that it's like sometimes your gut and your glory and your love going to come from the person that might not look like what you thought he should look like. So even in your conversation with people, you gotta. Some people not gonna get it. They some people still don't understand the power Nipsey has. With all the posts we post, with all the memes they've shared, with all the interview clips they share, they still looking at him like, nah, he was a cool rapper. They don't get it. They don't get it. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
People are mad that we are sad. That in itself tells you the mindset of the people. You know
what they so mad about, right?
So why are you mad that I feel it, but you don't? You're not there yet. So I wouldn't expect you to understand. And I think when we start understanding what our role is versus everybody else's, then you do your part and let everybody else do theirs.
Follow through,
and you teach. You teach through love, through whatever your power is. You give that your all, and some people will catch it, some people won't.
So as a black man, tell us what it is that you need. What do black men need from us, from the world, to get to that place of healing so that, they can...
Right. I think one of the things, just speaking from my own self, but more so when I'm speaking to younger black men, younger than myself, they're grown adults. Yes. So I'm speaking to young in different aspects, different arenas. And what I find is their fear, that what they want is fear, they want that love. They want, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to be this. You don't have to have this. What I need you to do is this. I need you to do this. And what that is, be you. It's okay. Because a lot of the women, like just in that's what all these men do. A lot of young boys, we see them. I see them in the schools. I see them. I'm like, why are you doing that? They don't really want the attention from the other dudes. They don't mind the guy. Oh, you crazy. It's her. He's looking for her. He wants to be that guy on campus. And that's grown men in whoever. Check me out. And what we need is the women, that love of saying, I love you unconditionally. I love you for who you are, and I love you what you can become.
And where you're at.
Where you're at and what you can become. And I'm willing to love you like that. I don't need you to have it's nice, I want you. That love will get you the big job or the big career in whatever field. So you can do and provide and have all those things. But I love you now just the same. So then I can go out there and I don't know if you have any children or any boys, males, but I know my mom, she would tell me, go and do that dance. I'm not doing that dance. It made me feel good.
Right,
my mom said, yo, you're doing good. I'm probably looking crazy as hell.
And that's
it made me
though.
It made me practice. Let me get better. Boy, you really doing that thing. Okay. And that stuff happens. And also, when I say that love, it could be a mother, uncle. It's not just the intimate part, but the first person as a male, I fell in love with those women that I fell in love with in my family, meaning my those women that was like, so coming up, I had some type of how to love another woman.
Right.
Whether she was my
Right.
girlfriend or not. Because once,
You
hey,
had something.
you open the door, you do this, that, and the third. I have a daughter and a son. I'm teaching both of them the same content that I got from grandma, auntie, and all those women. And the males too, that showed me what to do and what not to do. But that love, what we need from y'all is these men need that. Love us where we're at. And love us unconditionally. Like, I love you where you are right now. I'm gonna love you more where you're going.
Right.
And it's okay to
Right.
pick up that book outside of Donald Goines. You know, and the plumber meets Keisha. You know what I mean? And even in that, what we feed ourselves. It's cool to, it's cool to be in the, whatever's. Love, I don't watch that show, but love and hip hop or whatever they into. But we also got to realize. You said something earlier. You said I fell in love with myself. I was like, I don't need that because I know what's in it. I know what it can do to me. I know what it's done to me. It's the same thing with what we read, what we listen to. That's right. What we watch.
That's language.
I don't care who you, as we're growing, all of you women that's on this panel are brilliant women, right? Intelligent, been through stuff. You where you at, right? I think you're all influenced.
Absolutely.
Yes. You sit there and watch you some horror movies for about a weekend. You scared to death? Turn on lights and you can jump.
Yeah.
That's why I don't watch her.
Mind you, you just the other day you probably was on a train. Oh, boss.
Right.
Push me again. You gangster, but you in your house flicking on lights. What's that? You got influence. So we're influenced by also what we see and what we hear. I don't know if it's. I'm quite sure it's happening. You sitting there. You had enough of that at your job or wherever.
Right.
The shenanigan talk. Other females, other coworkers talking garbage. You're like, I'm good. Hey, what you doing? Nah, I'm out. I'm having lunch.
You don't want that energy. You don't want
that energy.
Yeah, so you want to feed yourself. And so what I'm hearing you say is that the love will inspire men to
we don't feel love. These young men, these black men.
You
don't
know what
feel
too? I think also like stop telling young boys who they should be and allow them to be who they are. And love them like you love your daughters. Exactly. Little boys need hugs.
That's right.
Little boys need to be able to lay in their mommy lap. Little boys need that. And just from your own friends, from my brothers, I watched my mother just she allowed my brothers to be, but in such a protective way that it kind of like crippled them, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like they were coddled. There's a difference between being coddled and loving your male child. That's two totally different things. You know what I'm saying? Because coddling a man could cripple a man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I got to deal with them. And I don't really like a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like love them. I said this to this guy in my job. I was like, men have risen on the backs of women. And he was a little offended. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, not in a negative way. But as your mother, I instilled in you. As your grandmother, I instilled in you. As your lover, I instilled in you. Because nobody loves you beyond a woman, I feel like, as a man, you know. So you've risen up. Some of your greatest strength came from a woman because you knew your mother always was going to open the door for you.
That's right.
You knew she gave you that courage.
But
you know what I'm saying?
But what happens to when you have the father that's on the other side telling you, no, that's not how a man's supposed to be. This is how a man's supposed to be. You're supposed to be showing you can't cry, you can't show no emotion, you can't show any feeling. Like, what happens? But then on the other hand, you have the mom that's like, no, you can cry, you can show emotion, you can have feelings. So it's kind of hard when you have those two different type of parents in that home trying to raise a man. Because I have that issue now.
That's when
so
you got to put a
like,
mirror
no,
in front of that man
be
and
be
say,
gentle, be soft, be nice. You have sisters, you have a mom. But then his father's like, no, he's supposed to work, take care of him. That's it.
Tell him he gotta relax.
Like everything is so like just serious and stern and no emotion, no crying. To him, that's a punk.
He needs to look in the mirror, though. He needs healing.
I already know that. I already
a
said that.
broken man
You
is raising a man. You know what I'm saying? That's what that
so,
is.
And when a mom steps in like me, it's like, it's
no, but see, a lot of mothers sit back, depending on there. You know, some of them take a step back, like, well, he's a man. You know,
hug him. Oh, he's 20 years old, so he doesn't need that.
Right.
Why doesn't he need that?
He absolutely
What's wrong about
needs
you giving your son a hug or a kiss on the forehead?
And then when he meets a woman that's doing that, he's not gonna
And
understand.
I think that's at the same time while we're, training our sons and teaching our sons something different, that we have to also teach our men simultaneously.
But I would say
that
I'm sorry,
because they only know what they were conditioned and how they were socialized. So he's coming hard and aggressive because that's how he was taught. And so now because we see the results of that. And I guess as women, we are starting to realize, like, no, that, that hardened mentality that everybody has that masculine and feminine energy. And I think the issue is it's not balanced in each individual. So the men are hyper masculine, even the women, they're hyper masculine, and that's, also out of necessity, in the absence of the male. So now we have to start balancing these energies, and we're starting to realize the importance of that. So that's what, as parents, we have to, and as mothers, because we're closer and more in tune with our emotions than men actually are. So we're gonna have to, take the lead on that, and while we're teaching our sons, teach our men the same thing.
Absolutely. If that there's that thing you said, I always say this: women in this day and time, there's so many women that don't. And I'm not speaking to any women here, but don't know their place because they're out of necessity, out of survival. I have to be a man, so they don't know if they don't know what they are. Really, they don't know. Yes, and men don't know are men. They don't know out of necessity too. Right. Because you got a lot of black men who are with women or have been with, whether it was feminine, whoever, or a lover, whatever. She's over aggressive. She's controlling, not on purpose. Not like that's her purpose, but because of environment, learned behavior. So she what mother effer, and of course, what he's gonna do, he's gonna either respond more aggressively, right? So then there's the domestic stuff going on and all that, or he's gonna be like, yo, I'm out. I ain't got no time for this. I don't want to deal with this. So now she's left alone. She got kids, and it's that whole cycle that happens. But the man, that aggressive nature, that's part of who we are. But to protect, right? To protect, that's gonna harm family, community. Anything that's gonna come in and violate, that's what that's for. Not for each other. Definitely not for the woman that loves you. That's the first thing they go to.
That's what.
I'm gonna knock you upside your head because No. And then that woman, it's okay it's by nature for him to be for protection, but it's also his nature. They just been not taught that to cry, to be okay, to show her love and compassion, and all that stuff. Same with her. It's in the nature of a woman to be nurturing and to be in that essence of that man, and not feel like, oh, he'll tell me what the no, in her heart of hearts, I just love that dude. That love. Not to be abused. Don't get it twisted. Like, nobody should abuse.
Don't get it twisted.
Don't abuse yourself.
Don't get it twisted.
Don't abuse yourself.
We are encouraging women to love men, but not at the cost of your life.
Right.
By no means are we saying to allow yourself to be a doormat or any of those things. So even when loving men have to understand you have to be somewhat receptive.
Right. It goes back to real. Just you mentioned Malcolm and Martin and their wives, right? What they had to do, right? Yes. This prior to the death. This is when they were young. That man was out for days and weeks. Thank God no cell phones and nothing.
Right.
And they held up the
She would be contacting him, but I'm working. Right? So as much as she wanted to, innocent nature woman to want to spend time with a man that she loves, be up under him, do those things. She had to hold it there. Even if she had a trouble, I was doing something. And then when he came home, he had to give her, he had to put that outside and give her that attention and that time. And they did that, obviously. But there's that happens. So you have women to allow the man to be that and not say, well, if he's shooting hoops and that's what's going to get you, that's got you rent paid, the mortgage and all that, let him shoot hoops. Let him do that, or take out he's a garbage man, whatever that is. Because I know I got female friends who complain about their men. He's in school, oh man, he's trying to get another degree. He's selling crack and having, FBI
a whole lot of
in your door.
Right.
Again, that doesn't mean you're dude. You got to give your family some time.
Absolutely.
Right.
Give it time.
Balance.
You got to.
A lot of us lack balance.
And that's the balance of saying, hey, you're part of me, and I'm part of you. Because you said we have both of those chromosomes in each human being. We have to nurture those in each other, And it can't be, well, I ain't gonna do it first.
So how do we encourage men to be more vulnerable so that they can, come down off of that masculine, energy and, open up and be receptive to those, to women who's trying to show him love? Because a lot of men don't see other men, saying that it's okay. Nah, you ain't got to be hard all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We probably gotta believe in them more.
Yeah, and believing in him we follow you guys. Believe it or not, we follow y'all.
I was about to say lead by example.
Example.
That's what I was thinking. Lead by example.
Right.
Lead by
Because
example.
because you, as a woman, you can, try give a man all your love, and we see it all the time where women exhaust themselves trying to. But if he's not receptive,
Then that's not it.
but that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So my question is, does he have to see in another man that it's okay for him to
he has
open
to
up?
see that too. Don't get me wrong. He has to see that. As a male, he has to see that. And as a male men who've come up to me like, dude, I like how you do with your family or what you do, and oh man, it's cool at your
Validation.
workshop, whatever it was. They need to see that. But they also following the woman in that essence of, okay, here she is, as much as to exhaust her love, but not just in him, but her love in something bigger than him. Whatever your faith is.
Correct.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because that thing is going to get, I love you, Daddy. Okay, you call me, cook, drop, whatever. She like, where you going? He like, where you going? I just laid it down. She's like,
I'm leaving.
I'm going to the gym. I'm going to go do that, my workshop or whatever it is, that thing that I do. Why? Because there's time for that leadership in her. He going to be like,
Either he going
if he love
go
her,
with it or he gonna run.
if he love her, he's going to be like,
Exactly.
man, I got to do something. I'll make you go ahead. What you doing? I'm putting puzzles together, baby. I'm gonna be your best
Right.
puzzle
Something.
together.
Something.
So, because in that you see women who we see it a lot in other ethnic, communities where the woman is maybe like starting a book club or reading a book, and then I hear it because I work with a lot of from different nationalities, and you're like, oh, me and my husband is reading this book, and I go, did you start? Like, no, I started the book and I told him to read it, now he's reading it with me.
Yeah.
No, I go, okay, I see what that's. All right, I see. They follow their women too. It's not just black women. It's just women in general.
It's women in general.
And I'm gonna use this thing. If you see the movie Troy, you heard the story about Troy, right? Troy. That whole thing about Troy was a woman. It was the male ego, but it was because of a woman, right? And it's not her fault. It was the king had a wife, but he had that still one. The other dude comes and falls in love with her. She falls in love with him. You should have got 10 of them. But his ego was crushed because he took a liking to that woman. She left him. Some people say that was love. She should have left. She shouldn't have to do that. That man is also the man who came over from the other kingdom. It was his responsibility to leave her alone. You forgone your honor. Right? Y'all would have went for something else. You see this, you got somebody waiting for you back at your kingdom. You started a whole war of people died. Achilles healed. Achilles got shot. All because of that ego, and it goes back. It's just how my spirit is. They took love out of what created you first. Fall in love with that, then I can love myself and you. I can honor, hey, that's not my position. Entertain that.
You have to know.
I gotta be like this.
You have to know.
I
You
don't
have
care
to know your
what you
boundaries. Because even in loving people to life, you have to know your boundaries.
That's right.
You have to know your boundaries. Because you love people to life, but not at the cost of yours. Like, that's just it.
Right.
That's just it right there.
Men will follow, but it has to make sense to them before
right.
they follow. My friend just told me that today.
That's right.
He's like,
But
it's got to make
even
sense.
with that,
It's
though,
not
I
making
feel
any
like
sense to me.
Even the
I'm not
make
going to be
sense
there.
part, I feel like sometimes you have to have enough faith in what you're following that it might not make sense right now, but it will in the end. Because you're asking
But
people.
that takes
That's my
trust.
thought.
It does take
that
trust
takes
because
trust.
you're asking people who have been in the street all their lives to now here's something different to try, and they're still with their homeboys that they've known, and they're saying their homeboys are saying, nah, this is what we do. So you're not just fighting his demons.
Tradition.
You're fighting the demons of the
his
people
friend,
that he's
yeah,
around
right,
too. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
So at some point, I think it becomes That's why I say you got to know your boundaries, because you can pour and pour and love and love and love, and if they are so weak in the spirit and mind that they're just like, nah, I
Right.
hear you,
Right.
and I almost want to try it,
Right.
but I was in a car with two men before, and we were talking, and I'm telling them like, y'all can do this, like as much as talent as you have, as smart as you are, this is not it. You know what I'm saying? You have so much more to offer. I see it in you. You know what I'm saying? And I know you feel it, because I don't think I would have seen it or felt it if you didn't feel it. I'm picking up off your vibes and your energy. So you fighting. I see what you fighting. You understand what I'm saying? So the guy's in the back and we talking, and the one I'm he listening to me. I could see that, and the guy in the back came out of nowhere and was like, "Nah, we love this shit." So here it is. I'm talking heavy, and he listening, and his homeboy, as soon as I felt like his homeboy saw, like, oh, nah, she might be like getting
To something. Right.
nah, we going, she talking too much. I'm not ready for that. So let me just come in. Nah, this ain't what we do. Pass the
Yeah,
you know what I'm
exactly.
saying? So it's not just, you got to understand that when you're, as a healer, like you said, when you're dealing with people, it's not just that. If you could just get somebody in a room and separate them from their world, then you might have a better chance. That's right. But you fighting them. Remember, you meeting them where they at. Where they at is on the block with their homeboys.
That's right.
Where they at is, you know, in the prison cell. Where they at is in some of the most darkest places possible.
Right.
So that's why you got to know what your role is and what you can do and what you're willing to do, because it's not, Nipsey couldn't have dated anybody.
Right.
It had to be Lauren. You know what I mean? That's why it was her, because no other woman could have carried him the way she did. You know what I'm saying? It takes a special person to be able to be a healer in general, but to have one of your own in your own home, in your own bed, because you're not. It's not just him. It's the world. He's fighting the world.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to be able to deal with him where he's at, and still try to denounce the world around him. Like, no.
Help him change his environment.
That's it.
Right.
And even that environment at home, the environment in wherever he's at, where it's that time you got to take, because you know what, women do it with their children, and of course you have a bunch of women who say, "I'm trying to raise you." All right, man,
I felt like that. I'm not going
You
to
do
hold you.
feel
I
like
felt
that.
like
You
that.
But on the flip
felt
side,
like
you got
that.
a bunch of men too. You say, "I ain't trying to raise no chick. I got my daughter because we raise it too. We raise each other.
We raise each other.
Yeah, each other.
We
have to-
raise each other.
yeah,
I don't care who you are as a woman, where you are in your life.
Right.
When you meet your mate, he is going to teach you something you did not know.
That's right.
And as a
That's the
woman,
whole
even in
point.
your
That's the
strength,
point.
you have to know we don't know that though. That's where we have to learn
right.
our way. Because we don't know
Right.
that.
This
How
is
many
new.
women
This
hear
is
me
all
roar? You can't tell me nothing. I picked you up out the
Right.
way. It wasn't the other way around. But doesn't mean that he's not knowledgeable. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So just that, right? We got to teach each other, and that's where that other love comes from a woman's perspective, to understand, like, okay, I can love him, but you also meet him with, but also give him that other kind of love to say, hey, get up. You got to get up.
You have to.
Right.
You have to.
You got to get up and do this, and put this environment. It's something I said. I told my son. I said, if you want a woman, you be ready for that, because he's young. So when you're ready, you want her to give you those things. Give her the environment to do so.
Correct. Okay.
And that means your spirit, not just a place, a physical place, but give
Be
her
a
the
safe
environment
space.
to
Create a
flourish.
safe.
And
Right.
she'll do it.
Right.
And
Right.
vice versa. I tell my daughter the same thing. You want to give him paint the environment for him to give you that. And he has to give that back.
He has to give it back.
It's a two-way street, but you have to be willing to do it, because you got to do it for yourself.
Correct.
Loving yourself. I got to give my own environment to flourish. So if it's, you know what, I'm getting out this neighborhood today. I'm going by yourself.
Anywhere.
So you
Exactly.
have your mind
Anywhere.
can open up to be,
Anywhere.
now I can think.
Anywhere.
We have to understand that that's what
Yeah.
we need
Lead
to
us
do,
in the new
inspire each other to greatness. And it's like where people they don't want to take on that role. And it's like when you inspire your partner and just even your friends and everyone around you.
Who doesn't want to take off on that role? Women, you saying?
No, I just
Or
said
just
there's
anybody in
there's
general?
a lot
Okay.
of people in general, they just don't want to, accept that this is what you're supposed to inspire each other, your circle to greatness, and see the potential. Once you start connecting to the people around you, you say, nah, I'm not gonna accept mediocrity from you. You have so much. You're not gonna waste your talent. You're not gonna waste your gifts. You're going to develop your talents and your gifts, and you're going to be great. And I'm not gonna let you do it on my watch. I'm not gonna let you waste it on my watch. You know, and this is what we're supposed to. And everybody, men and women, we're supposed to understand that this. And it's going to be hard because we're not used to it, and we don't understand that we have our own healing that we have to do. But we still have to get our own healing, like you said, do the work, love ourselves, and then inspire
the world.
Set the environment.
Everything worth having is going to be hard work.
It's
Before
going
we wrap
to
it
be
up,
hard work.
Everything hard work. We all got new phones. When that new phone came out, you was like, I don't even know how to work this. You sat there in front of YouTube, called your cousin, your aunt, your brother, your young kid. Hey, how did you learn this phone?
Around with it,
but eventually you learned.
Right.
And it was harder because
Because it's yours. Because it's yours. Because you know it's yours.
That's
what
what
Nipsey said. You got to take.
You know
You
what I
got to
know
be
too?
secure.
Sometimes you got to speak their language. Because here we are talking about love and heal the world, and for some people it's like wah, wah, because that's not their language.
Right.
Sometimes you got to pull. Listen, okay. Because I did all the loving I could do.
Right.
I'm gonna have to paint this picture for you.
Now I
and
gotta
show
holler
you
at
what
you.
correct. I'm gonna show you what you around.
it's true.
Like Ayanna Van Zant. People think that she's so aggressive, but no, some people need that.
Yeah.
Let me show you what you've been around. Let me put a mirror in front of you because you think they love you, but I'm on the outside looking in. I see.
Right.
They you're a benefit to them. So they love you. But they benefit from you greatly. So it's going to be so much they're going to pour into you because they want you to stay at this level because I eat when you at this level.
That's right.
If you progress, I might not eat. You know what I'm saying? So people don't know that. They think they around a secure circle, and that's because there's nobody there to intervene and say, no.
Right, exactly.
This ain't what it is.
So let me wrap this show up. Okay. Thank you, ladies.
You're welcome.
You
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Right. Thanks
So
for
you
having
want
us.
to do a promo for your show on the end, and then
I'm sure.
all right, promo your show, and
Okay.
then
The Untitled Podcast.
Yes. Again, thank you for having us. This is an amazing conversation. I really enjoyed it.
It really was.
We were supposed to go only like 15 minutes in, and we spent the whole hour. So again, thank you. We appreciate it so much. The Untitled Podcast
_ on Instagram. Today was our first show, so expect more from us. We'll be talking more, telling more, and we'll see you next time. Okay,
and I want to thank We Say What They Can't Radio, and this is SoulShare. We're closing out.
Yes, excellent show.
We say what they can.